Well, guys, the time has arrived. It is vendors event day. I am extremely nervous. Um, Hello, welcome to Candidly LJC. I'm Larissa JC. Ain't no one else that can be because my mama named me. So, if you've been following me lately, you know that I have a vendors event coming up, and today is the day. I am immensely nervous, but I'm going to go into this full throttle. It's raining, and I got my hair out, and I'm just feeling a way about that. So, right now, I'm about to put my stuff inside of the building. So everybody's getting their stuff out. They got like wagons and stuff, and I'm like, man, those wagons look really convenient. But I'm gonna go ahead and see where my spot is. It's just me, myself, and I. So hopefully I can get some footage in of the whole situation. Basically, this is just me trying to go outside of my box and meet the people and get my name out there and help my business to grow. So being a new entrepreneur, you got to kind of do things sometimes that you're not used to doing, and I got to be okay with that. So I'm looking to have a great time. I'm looking to be positive. I think I'm about to try to go sit over here. People walking through the rain. I do not want to walk through the rain. I'm about to go sit over here, go park over here. So I'll be back, guys.
Whatever you do not drop your phone down there.
Hello, and welcome to another day. And if I'm being absolutely honest, it's probably like 2 weeks later from the time that I filmed the first footage that was in this video. One being my vendors event, my long-awaited vendors event, and the other clip being a day at the Monster Jam truck rally. So I just kind of wanted to come in and end this vlog because I haven't done that, and I kind of wanted to share with you my experience on my vendors event. So as I was stating in the beginning of the video, that I was preparing to go into the building, and so I decided to get a dolly. It's like a more personal dolly, for lack of better words. It's a smaller dolly to transport your stuff on. So it was raining. There was a lot of calamity because people were trying to get their items into the building, out of the rain, into their space. So because it was raining, it was a little bit chaotic. So, okay, so I had this dolly, right? And I gathered all my stuff because I'm trying to do everything in one whop. And because this is only my second vendors event, there was not a lot. It wasn't like I had a whole lot to bring in, but it was enough for one person because I had my long rack with my waist beads on it. First thing, I go up underneath like this underpath part of the building, and I start unloading my items, and I get them all on my dolly. Now the handle to the dolly is kind of short, and I have some taller items on my dolly that are taller than the handle. So I'm pushing my items through the door on the dolly, and everything kind of like falls forward. So that was like my first experience, because I had my apprehensions about doing this vendors event by myself because I know it's a lot of work. So first thing happens, all my stuff falls forward, right? I had like a wooden box, I had a bin, I had some stuff in the box, I had this big sign that is my logo, the name of my business, and it all falls down. Luckily, people were very nice and helped me get my stuff together so I can keep moving forward to my space. So since this is only my second vendors event, I only have one other vendor event to compare my experience to this event. So it was at a nice like venue where they hold wedding events and probably like dinner affairs at, but mostly it's like what do you have after your wedding? The party after your wedding. That's where this event was being held. So what was different in my experience compared to the last experience is that the vendors, we created aisles. Okay, so it's just a big open space. We created aisles. So I was like facing other vendor tables. Okay, so I thought that was a little different. And then there was people, there was vendors behind me, and there's like these aisles created by our tables. So at my first vendors event, we were like in a rec center, and so you have your corridors. So we were all lined up in the corridors. Nothing was behind me but a wall, and because it was at like a recreation center. But once I got my stuff together, and so what was really great is that there were people there that I had already knew. I did not expect to see these individuals there. Well, my good friend's cousin was there. And so like right off bat, I'm trying to get my situation together. I'm trying to get my table together, and I have my rack of waist beads. And I don't know, waist beads are beautiful. They're appealing. They're attractive to the eye. They're shiny. They glisten. They bling. Okay. And when you string them up on a rack, it draws attention. It draws it draws eye to those beads. And so they were very pleased to see the waist beads that I had. So in the midst of me setting up, they actually purchased waist beads from me. One thing that happened this time that I wasn't going to set myself up for the last time is that I had the Cash App QR code available. Being that I had printed it out, put it in a nice frame, decorated in Canva. I love Canva. If you are a business and you are paying people to produce marketing material for you, take the time out and to look into Canva. I did like a Canva free trial. But I loved it so much, I decided to go ahead and invest in a monthly membership. I tend to do monthly memberships. I don't like to pay all the guap for annual membership at one time. But so I invested in Canva, and I created a QR code for my Cash App. So I was appreciative of that because they used Cash App, and I don't really do any transactions through Cash App. But with my experience the first time, I didn't know anything about Cash App. I didn't have a QR code. I didn't even know my Cash App name. I forgot why I created a Cash App, right? So I was gonna make sure that I was not gonna have that be a hiccup for me because you go to a vendor's event to sell, and people do more. You need more than one means of transaction. So that really calmed my spirit. But guess what? I forgot to pack my scissors. Now, we tie waist beads around people, and I did not have any scissors to cut the access beads. So that was a problem. So I like lightweight panic more than what I should. Like, oh snap, I don't have scissors. So, God will send angels for you. He foresees the future. He knows what's next. And he knew that was going to be a problem for me. And so, being that this was an individual that I knew that I was tying, which is my really good friend's family, and I've grown up with her myself, so I know her. She went home. She lived locally. She lived like close in the area, went home and brought me back some scissors. Okay. Like, if that just wasn't a blessing within itself. Okay. So I got my table set up. It was, what I liked about this experience is that it was very, very diverse. There were not only, there were black and white vendors. At my first vendors event, it was mainly, African-American people, black people there. So it was a little different, they had, at my first event, the music was playing, it was playing somewhat loud. So you had to talk loudly to interact with your customers. So it was less it was more of an ordeal to hold a conversation with people because the music was playing so loud. And also, my first vendors event, I was positioned next to someone who was selling food, who was selling tacos. And those tacos had all the fixings, and she had onions. And those onions were so strong. And I was just kind of a little frustrated that I had to be next to the onions. And it wasn't until the Scentsy seller came and set up her stuff across the way and started getting her scents going and stuff that it made the area smell better. So what I liked about this second time around, that there were no individuals selling hot food in the venue. I love that. I love that there were only food trucks set up outside. And that just makes sense to me because people who have their very precious items that they're selling at a vendor's event, jewelry, clothing, hats, wreaths, books, you don't want people to eat, right? And be walking around with food and come and pick up your items and possibly get them dirty. So I love the fact that their food trucks were outside. There was nobody eating. That there was a young lady there selling her baked goods, but nobody was walking around eating. And I like the fact of the diversity. So my suggestion for you is to experience both, but in my experience from the two vendors events that I've had, it is important to have a diverse audience because it's going to bring in a diverse crowd and you're going to have more opportunity to sell your items. Okay. And people who normally don't see them are very impressed when they do see them. Okay. I had a lot of beautiful white ladies come up very interested in what waist beads were. How to adorn themselves with the waist beads and also purchasing waist beads. Okay, I think I might have had more white women buy my waist beads than black women, just because they were interested in the practice. You want to educate. I definitely educated them on what waist beads were and what their history was and how they wear them and why they're wearing them, so they would have a knowledge and know what they are wearing around their waist. Okay, but they just love the fact that they were beautiful beads, and I mean, I can't deny them that grace of wearing waist beads. But also they were very into my bracelets. It was a beautiful experience. But the best thing is, and like I said, I was so nervous. I was so nervous about doing it. I got a call, so it made my video stop. However, I don't even remember what I was saying because I was in mid sentence and I got that phone call. But I was nervous. I think this is where I was at. I was really nervous because when you are doing something different that is not your norm, you tend to have some reservations, but you persevere through those reservations because this is what you really want to do. And what I really want to do is be my own businesswoman. I want to be an entrepreneur. I love creating beaded jewelry. It makes me feel so good. I am in peace when I'm creating pieces. And when I first started making waist beads, it was just a hobby. It was just a hobby. But when I adorned myself with them, I felt so beautiful. Like you stand there in the mirror, bare butt naked, and all you have is just you and these beautiful beads that are draped around your body. And it just is a good feeling. It just makes you feel really, really good. And I knew at that moment that I needed to share that. And what I had problems with was finding waist bead strands. At that time when I started making waist beads for myself, I had a really hard time finding waist bead strands that were long enough to fit my waist. I needed it to wrap around my waist. And so I felt like I needed to solve that situation because where's the representation? Because most of us got meat on our bones. So where's the representation when I seen beautiful women wearing waist beads? They were way smaller than me. They were way smaller than me. And I'm like, I know, because this is an African tradition and we know that African women are pleasantly plump, no shade, but it is a very much, I don't know what to say, like flattering for women to have weight in African and some African cultures because it shows that they are healthy, that they are like well to do, they are able to eat. Right, so they are not deprived. So and it is a good like fashion statement for a woman to have some meat on the bones. That's why probably African men always be at some juicy black women, because it's the norm. However, so it has become very important to me to create waist beads, and within that, I have decided to start making beaded bracelets as well. So I have just been enjoying this journey, and what I am looking for is financial freedom and independence. Okay, I am someone who had a very hard time working in corporate America. Even though I did my jobs when I had corporate jobs, I did them well, but I was never happy or satisfied. So for me to take this step out, not knowing anything about waist beads, turning my waist bead hobby into a business, not knowing anything about beaded bracelets, implementing that into my business, not knowing anything about vendors events, putting myself out there, dealing with social anxiety, and just putting my face out there to be the brand and to build the brand of my business is a very important, and it's a large stepping stone into me growing. Just like making YouTube videos, you know. I just feel like there's room for representation in things all the time. So, with that being said, because my friend knew that I was going to be at this vendor's event, she showed up. She showed up and she supported. Not only that, the friend that showed up and supported is the same friend of the cousin who was there to give me the scissors. Okay, so I have the cousin there, she's there to provide me the scissors. Then I have the friend that comes that I've known practically all my life, come and support me, sit with me at my table, greet people, explain to people what I got going on, and just being a support system. Not only that, her mother coming in to purchase my product. So I, thinking that I was going to go into this by myself, did not, because when you have trust and faith in the Lord and you ask him for guidance and protection, he is going to send his angels. He is going to wrap you up in his love and provide you the assistance, the help, the courage, the faith and belief that you need. So that really, really, really helped me. And on top of that, I was surrounded by beautiful women who were also at the vendor's event getting their hustle on too. So the tables that you see, the other tables that you see, were the people who were around me, and I just wanted to kind of like showcase their products as well, because there was such a great variety of products at this event, and that's what I like. At the first event that I did, there was a couple of women there selling beaded bracelets and crystals and stuff. But at this event, I was the only one there selling waist beads. I think that there was maybe one other person who was selling some type of jewelry, and that just gave me the opportunity to sell my items better. I think that the lady who ran this vendor's event did a good job with organizing and making sure that there was a vast array of products being sold, that it wasn't a repeat, it wasn't the same product each table you went to. And then she also did a good job in marketing, because letting the people know that this event was coming up, because not only was she on her social media platforms consistently marketing this event, which has now grown bigger and more people wanting to get in, she also had flyers all in up down the street where the venue was, and it's a very, very busy street, and there were so many people that I met that said, hey, I seen these flyers and I seen these like yard signs, and so I decided to stop in and see what was going on, and these women have purchased. So it was a really good experience. I can appreciate being nervous, and then the flip side is feeling really good about the situation and the decision that I made in the event. So I just want to be here as encouragement. Some fear often holds us up from the things that we want and love and deserve to have. We let fear stop us. Fear has been a bump in my path on so many occasions, from things that I wanted to do. But I have decided not to let fear get in the way. We can acknowledge fear, and then we can move on from it. You don't have to ignore it. You acknowledge it and you move on forward, and you walk in faith, because nothing can be done without the faith of the Most High. Okay. And so I just wanted to come in and just tell you my experience. I was going back and forth on if I needed so many bracelet stands. I was going back and forth on if the rack that I had would suffice, because doing a vendor's event can be very costly, because not only do you buy the space that you're in, you have to have items, you have to have a table. Like, these places don't provide you a table. Thankfully, they have provided chairs, and I have not had to invest in chairs, although I do want to invest in a better chair. but it's a very costly situation when you're first getting started, and after you've done it for so long, of course you accumulate your items and you need less stuff, and it's just mainly your product that you're selling. But you have to have tables, you have to have tablecloths, you have to have a point of sale system. So I use Square. I know I was telling you guys about my apprehensions with Square because I had a bad experience the first time Square went off without a hitch. I did get a little nervous navigating through it with my first customer because not only I do Etsy, so Etsy syncs up with Square, okay? So it keeps hold of your inventory, and also you can just put your inventory in there, right? So one of the best things about Square that I love, not only does it take, not only is it just for customers who's using their card, but it also is a good way to track your inventory, and you can also log your cash payments in there as well. So your overall the overall amount that you made from the vendor's event that you did, Square is going to keep track of that. And then also it's going to reflect those sales on Etsy. So I can really appreciate that as well, because that has seemed to really help my Etsy shop, the reflection of sales, because people like to see sales, right? And not only that, they like to see reviews. So I'm still working on people leaving reviews in my Etsy shop. But I just want to just be encouragement for those who are nervous about getting it going. And this is what is even more important. It is never too late to get your dream going. It is never to you walking around here on God's green earth. It ain't never too late, because you are still here. You still have a purpose. You still have time. Okay. Time is relative. We focus on today and we work towards tomorrow. Okay. So, I am 40 plus, and I am still following and chasing my dreams. You know, they like to say, oh, when you get old, it's going to get too late, or don't wait till you get too old. I don't care how old you get. If you still here breathing and moving around, it ain't too late, okay? Don't let the naysayers infiltrate your mind, because you know in your heart what is important and what you want to do. And sometimes, and I've been blessed to be in a position where I can leave my job and focus on this. I've been blessed to be in that position, but I want still my circumstances to change, because there's still some conformity in the way that I have to live my life in order to follow my dream. So I am just really trying to persevere and push forward and show other individuals that just because you're over 40 doesn't mean that you can't still live your dream, doesn't mean that you can't still open that business, doesn't mean that you still can't come up with that product, doesn't mean that you still can't do whatever it is that you're trying to focus on doing. Okay, you subtract the naysayers, subtract them from your life, subtract the negative energy. Fill yourself up with positive energy. I've been reading this book here, and I showed it to you maybe in my first or second video, but I've been reading this book here. It has been so intricate, and me getting my mind together and keep going. And this book, what you need is positive affirmations. You are a badass. How to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life that you deserve, that God put you here for. Pick this book up, go to the library, go to the bookstore, pick this book up, and it is a good read. I still haven't finished it, and I probably purchased this book back in February, but sometimes when I am being a little apprehensive, I pick up this book and I read it, and it gives me the go that I need. Not only that, I surround myself with positivity, positive words. I try to listen to positive affirmations on a regular basis. I'm into meditating, and creating waste beads has really steered me into a life that I did not know that was ahead of me. It has allowed me to be so more enlightening. I was not meditating prior to creating waste beads, but it has opened that insight for me, dealing with beautiful crystals and gems and beads and colors, and speaking of color therapy. So I just wanted to come on here and to encourage all, whether you are young, middle-aged, or season, okay? With age comes wisdom, okay? With living life comes wisdom, comes experience. You learn from your misfortunes, you grow from them, and you keep it moving, okay? You keep it pushing. So I just want to come on and just tell you about my experience. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you're thinking about doing vendors events, again, I'm in the vendors group on Facebook. I think it's called Vendor Inspirations. Basically, people talk about their setups, what they need, and I think what I need for the future is one of those wagons, okay? Because those wagons was pulled, they like more secure than the dolly. I thought I was doing something with the dolly because I was breaking my neck the first vendors event trying to get a dolly. When I got there, they already had a dolly for us. So, however, also my the person who was running the event gave all the vendors a little like bag of necessaries, right? It had tissue in it, it had hand sanitizer, it had lip balm, it had chocolate, it had like things that you needed, maybe you forgot and didn't think about bringing, okay? And so I can appreciate that too. So I just want to come in and end this vlog and say, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. I am rooting for you, okay? It is room for all of us to be successful and to succeed and to live our dream. You have to work toward it. And I am learning that now more than ever, that it's an ongoing I don't want to say battle, but it is ongoing. Your work is never done. You learn every day, and you just got to keep pushing forward. And you got to believe and see in your mind, like, it can be for you. Why can't it be for you? Why can't it be? There's no excuse as to why your dreams can't be for you. The only thing that is stopping you is you. So if you are ready, start. Even if you ain't ready, just start. Because once you start, then you're just going to keep on going, keep on going. Okay, so I started this. So what's the next move? Write your things down, write your thoughts down, get you a planner, get you a plan going, and just start it, right? Okay, so thank you so much for joining me in this video. And I am now looking for another vendors event to participate in. I tell you what, the biggest issue that I had that is a challenge is standing. And one of the things that you have to do is be ready and prepared to greet and to talk and converse and to connect with your potential clientele. And so a vendor's event may only last for about 5 hours, but your day lasts anywhere between 10 to 11 hours, from getting your stuff going, getting your stuff packed, taking it to the event, setting it up, selling it, and breaking it down. You on your feet. And some people, I understand, cannot stand all the time, okay? Because we all have issues, from arthritis to feet issues to whatever issues that we have, to where we can't stand all day. And that's understandable. Excuse me. But it is worth it if you can, to stand up, be ready, and connect with your customers. Okay, so that just really was a wear and tear on my body. My feet was throbbing. My feet was throbbing. Lord, my feet was throbbing. And I was like, I had spent so much money on other things. I'm like, I'm not buying a new pair of shoes just for this one day event. I'm going to work with what I got. But my feet were definitely throbbing. And that goes to say with cheers. If you buy a chair that sits higher, like a director's chair, I learned that in my vendor's event. It's not so much on your knees to get up, stand up when you're getting up out of the chair. You buy a chair that sits taller. So there's so many things that you need for an event. And another thing that I learned is that if you sell jewelry and stuff like that, in an organized way, laying them flat on the table appeals to the eye better, because they can see those items. Also, it is important to have things at more of an eye level so it catches people. And my waist beads did that. My waist beads did the job for that. I'm still looking for a better way to transport my beads. My aunt made me some lovely bags to wrap my beads in while I am transporting them. But it is kind of cumbersome to get that long rack in and out of the trunk and have my beads on there because it's very top heavy when it lays flat, and to sit it up, it was just a situation, right? So I'm looking for another way to transport my waist beads, but still keep them on the little shower hooks because I don't have time to be, and I don't want to wrap the beads around the bar, but I might have to give in and do that. I feel like it takes up more space on a rack when you're wrapping the beads around the bar each individually. It just takes up more space. So however, thank you so much for joining me for this video. It was a long time coming because it's been like 2 weeks. Like I said, I done lived a whole life, and I was like, let me hurry up and at least comment on this before I forget everything that was going on. And I probably did miss some things. I do apologize that I had on my mind to talk about that I really don't remember talking about. But another note, like, even if you're a person who organizes vendors event, please don't have people selling hot food inside the event. Just get some food trucks. I went to the food truck at the event. I was so appreciative that he was there. I wish that I could remember the name, but I'm going to find him around town because he had barbecue. He had no pork items, and I was like eyeballing this mat, and I wanted this mat so bad. I was so hungry, and like my friend, she was ordering wings, and so I looked and it said beef, all beef, everything was beef, no pork, because I don't even like to necessarily purchase from places that offer beef and pork, particularly on a food truck, because they're cooked on that same platform, they're cooked on that same grill. But I was appreciative of that too. So just in the thought of thinking about your vendors being able to grab something to eat during or after the event, I couldn't see myself eating and trying to work with people. That just ain't my thing. But I was so happy that he was there. I wish I should have got that flyer before I started recording that video, and that flyer is all the way downstairs now. But again, I pray that you have a beautiful day. The sun is shining bright. Again, I love some natural light, and ring lights are hot. They hot. They make you sweat. They shine down on your face. I am a natural light photographer, and so I am very impartial to natural light. Most of my videos probably will be made in the day when the sun is shining and energizing my soul. So, thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I am very much working on getting more videos out. I want to talk about like midlife redefinement. This is midlife redefining. This is a channel about midlife redefinement. The redefining your life midlife, okay? Because you are still capable of doing all the things that you dreamed of after 40. Life does not end after 40. You know, we invest a lot of time in other people and we don't invest it in ourselves. We feel obligated to be the super parent, super friend, super spouse, super partner, and not be super to us. How can we possibly make anybody happy if we are not happy ourselves? Don't nobody want to be around that negative, depressed energy, and you don't want to hold that inside of you, okay? So we also going to talk about health and wellness and growing our business. I want to show you what start looks like, and so just stick around, like this video if you enjoyed it. Come back and see me. I'm Larissa, that's Candidly LJC, and thank you very much for joining me. You have a lovely day, okay?